Hello there, it's Ben from Devwalks, the creator of the Let's Build Instagram series and now the Let's Build Basecamp series. And this is what I sound like. Very Australian, no doubt. What I thought I'd show you today is what I've been working on for a couple of months now. It's actually my very first paid product. And this is actually what I wanted to learn to code for. This is why I taught myself to code. Not this product in particular, but the ability to create products that I can then create a business from. So because you are probably learning to code, I'm not going to give you a sales pitch. I'm just going to talk about the tech stack I've used to build what I'm calling Drum. So I built Drum using Elixir and Phoenix as the full stack framework. Actually, I use Phoenix to render all the templates, but I do use quite a bit of React on the dashboards, and I'll show you what React is doing. Now, there's absolutely no reason why you couldn't use Ruby on Rails for anything I've done here. I've heavily used React, as I mentioned. I've heavily used WebSockets as well to communicate back and forth between React and the server. But Rails does all of that very nicely. It also has a very nice React library as well to integrate React really simply into your templates. I think it actually integrates really well with TurboLinks as well. I'll give you a quick demo, a tech demo of what I've created. All of these static pages I've actually created in just using the Phoenix templating system. I was going to move it into like a static page builder such as Jekyll, which is what I use to build the Devwalks blog. But for the sake of ease and keeping everything together for the time being, because it's only me, I just used Phoenix templates for the static pages as well. So you can see I've got a little call to action here in a couple of places on the front page. All this does technically is you notice the query param up here, and it's just pre-filling the email input here. What it could potentially do later on is almost be used for maybe user tracking, for like retargeting for marketing purposes, but I'm not doing any of that yet. I can't use this email because I've already used it, so I will just use hello@devwalks.com, my super secret password. I better give myself a name. Ben doing lots of Bens. Now, so what you can do here is you can add a company logo. So what I will do is I won't add a logo for the time being, but let's say I'm doing client work. So I'll choose client as the stakeholder title. Join now. I do not want to save that password. Okay, so this is the very first page. Oh, hello. There I am. I'm glad that works actually. I hadn't tested that yet. So this is all intercom actually. So you'll notice that Intercom actually lets me do user onboarding really nicely, and this is the extent of the user onboarding at the moment, but I'm going to do that for each step, and that will only happen when a user first registers. So if you were to register, you should hopefully see that as well. But I'm also going to use Intercom for my support tickets down here as well. And because it is very early, so I'm looking for lots of feedback, so Intercom will be very, very useful for that. So this is a Phoenix template, but this middle section here is actually a React component. It just lets me do cheeky little transitions like this. So let's call this Basecamp tutorial. This is my project name, and let's teach people to create a So this is a React component, but this create button here, this is just submitting a form as you would with a normal template. There's nothing magical going on there with WebSockets or anything like that. Once again, so these two components here are part of a larger React component. So what we can do is you can either say create project milestones. So these are the high level milestones. So let's say that this is one of my client jobs. A project milestone could be one of these. Let's say research, and I could say research your customers I've got a client, I want to research their customers to make sure that we're building what their customers actually want, and create project goals, because project goals are very important for client work. So what we can see now is that it's sort of via WebSockets, it's actually created this new research milestone that I can delete or update if I'd like. Let's get excited. Research, update, yeah. But the other thing that I created too is a template. So I love the idea of being able to create a project template. So I'm not doing this, this horrible data entry every time I create a project. So let's say web development. So I'll click select template. This is all React. Okay, so this is a React modal. And I can say, yes, I want to use this template. Well, no thanks, and that will just cancel. Well, look, I'll use this template. Yes. So that automatically creates 4 milestones for me based on the template. I can, of course, edit them from here if I'd like and customize them for myself, but I'll just leave them like that for the time being. So you'll notice that so we have these milestones, which is what we created in that first step. And under the milestones, we have tasks. So this is a really good template if you do client work, website design, as it said. And it creates a really nice process for you to work with your clients. And once again, this is why React's nice. I can edit these. I'm not going to a separate page, in a standard CRUD application. I can edit from here. I can add new milestones, using reusable components. And so you can see that each of our milestones has some tasks under there. So that's fine. All done. Now, imagine that I've customized the project template at this point. I could actually save it as something different here, but I'm not going to. I didn't actually change anything, I don't think, so I'll just say, no thank you. So this is the bread and butter of Drum. So this is where I'm actually working with my clients at the moment. So I'll create a project template, or use an existing one, as I tend to, and this is what both my clients and I will see as we work together. And so what I can do is I can invite my client. Let's say I'll invite, I'll invite my legitimate email address. And so my legitimate email address will now get an invite. It's really easy for me to then sign up as a client in this case. But as I said, this is the bread and butter of Drum. This is the main dashboard. Once again, so this call to action asking you to invite your client down, and these tabs as well, is all a React component with small React components underneath. And the same goes for, so say this task initial meeting, this task modal React component. And it's using WebSockets. I'm actually using Redux as well. And so Redux lets me manage what the active modal window is, for example. And it gives me context, when I add a comment. So let's just say this, let's imagine this meeting happened. Thanks. And I can just say, I'm working on. It's really easy for me to see at a glance what I'm working on. Or I can just say, completed. All done. Let's say I've completed the scope of works as well. Finalize and approve the scope of works. I don't know if you noticed, but when we were creating this project, I can actually mark this task as requiring client sign-off. So I can't actually complete this task. All I can do is mark it as awaiting sign-off. But my client is the only one who can approve that. So that client that I invited, who was actually also me, Ben at Devwalks.com, they are the only ones that can mark this task as completed. And I'll show you that in a moment. And let's say, so that's all done, and I'm currently working on creating the wireframes for this client. You'll notice that we're creating a series of notifications down the bottom here. And what you'll also notice is that we actually get a journal of the project as a whole. So you can track a whole project from start to finish, when tasks were finished, when comments were added, when feedback was added, on a single page. This is really nice, and I plan on using this for when I do my project reviews. to see, if the project took a bit longer than I thought, why. I'll be able to see that really easily in here, and I'm really excited about that. I haven't had the chance to do that yet for one of my own projects, but I think it's going to be a big win for me. One of the other features in Drum is the feedback system. So what I can do is I can actually, either myself or my client, or my supervisor, depends on the project, we can track feedback here. So let's say, I want my client to do something. So let's say, what was I doing? Design mockups. View design mockups. This probably isn't a great feedback item. Hi, Ben, who was my client. Could you please review the design mockups? I can actually join it to a task as well. The beauties of relational databases. So I'll attach this to the wireframes. I can submit or submit another. I'll just submit this, and you'll notice we have, it's almost like in my mind a GitHub issue. So I've got one place which isn't a Google Sheet or something where the client and I will be able to share feedback, ask for action from each other. And what I can do is if this is all done, thanks for reviewing, you're the best. I can comment on these, I can mark this as actioned, but once again, only the client can mark this feedback item as closed. So, it keeps everyone in the loop, which I think is really good. Last but not least, something else that I've added, and this was, I'm actually a little bit proud of this. So, is that a task can have a deliverable. So let's just say, please check out the scope of works. So I don't know, I'll comment to this task and just imagine, so what I can do here is I can actually attach a document or a deliverable to this task. So let me just go to the desktop. Do I have anything? Okay, so let's imagine, you'll have to use your imagination here, that this image is the scope of works. So it's really easy for me to attach the scope of works to this scope of works task. Now I can open that scope of works from here, or there's a single source of truth for all the documents in this project. So you'll see that here on the Documents tab, we have milestone deliverables. And I can see that this, when we're using imagination here, remember that this is the scope of works. You can see that this is a deliverable for the finalize and approve scope of works task. So I can either go back to this task, or I can click on the attachment. This is all secured through and signed through Amazon AWS S3. So that was a deliverable. So that's specific to a task. But also imagine that there is once again, use your imagination here. Imagine that this is the job contract. So what I can do is I can attach the contract, and I'll upload that. And using your imagination, we have the contract for this job here as well. So I'll have a series of deliverables and more general documents here. And what else can I show you? So that's using AWS. Aha! The design framework that I'm using for this is a heavily customized version of Bulma. Now you can see Bulma at bulma.io. And this is the first time I've used Bulma for one of my projects, and I highly recommend it. So please check that out. Just trying to think what else I can show you. So what I can show you actually is payments. So payments are all integrated through Stripe, and it's a lovely experience. If you've used Stripe before, you understand. It's amazing how easy it is to integrate Stripe into an application. So what I can do, and the way I've done it at the moment, is that Drum is completely free, unlimited time, but only for one active project. So if we go back to all of my projects, as a free user, you can see I've now prompted the user. So your free limit has been reached. upgrade your account to add more projects, because I want people to be able to trial it for as long as they want. I don't want it to be 30 days or 60 days. But if they're working with multiple clients or on multiple projects in parallel, then they're probably getting enough value at that point to pay. And it's as simple as this. It's a really simple payment form using Stripe. So this is using Stripe cards, I believe. Don't hold me to that. But this is all completely secure. The only responsibility on my end is that it's all SSL, so HTTPS connection. And what this does is it allows me to create a Stripe customer, and I get a token for that customer, a payment token, which I can then use to charge them, in this case, for a subscription. So this isn't the test, so I can't use 42, 42, 42 to make this work. But this is all done via Stripe. So this is a really nice implementation, and it was really, really easy. I won't do it now because this credit card isn't real. And what I can do? So imagine that I'm finished with this project. I can actually click on settings for this project, and I can just archive it. So what that lets me do is that I don't have one active project anymore, so I can just go ahead and create another. The only downside with archive projects is, one, you get this ugly bar everywhere, because you can't actually modify anything. You can't change the project, and I think that's a good thing, because this project is now it's a permanent representation of what this the work that was done for me and this client. So look, that's enough for the time being. I hope you enjoyed this quite drawn out demonstration of what I've been working on. It's called Drum. If you'd like to use it, look, feel free to sign up. Like I said, it's completely free to use for one active project. And it would really actually mean a lot to me. I'd be very grateful if you have anyone who works on client jobs, or who could use some sort of tracking for structured projects. If they need supervisor sign-off or team lead sign-off throughout a project, I would really appreciate having a single source of truth for all their project information. Send them through to Drum. I'm sure they'd enjoy it just as much as I enjoy using it actually for my clients. So look, thank you for taking the time to listen to me waffle. Hopefully it doesn't take me too long to get the next Basecamp article out. And look, thanks for listening. If you made it this far, well done. Thanks. Bye.